Located on the banks of the Columbia River, Portland, Oregon was last year voted one of the 10 best places to live in the United States. And no wonder. Breathtaking scenery and a booming economy have brought people here from all over the United States and now Canada. The Canadian Football League is anxious to expand, and Portland is hungry for pro sports. With only one major pro team in town, there's plenty of room here for more. And tonight, the Canadian Football League has come to town with preseason football, hoping that fans will watch more than just lovely scenery. They'll watch the Canadian Football League and like it enough to invite them back as full-time partners in 1993. The last time the Calgary Stampeders met the Toronto Argonauts was the final game of the 1991 season, the Grey Cup game in chilly Winnipeg. The star of the show was the Rocket. He was the game MVP, and when it was over, the Argos were champions. Wally Buono's Calgary Stampeders came oh so close with Danny Barrett at the helm, but there's a new man up front in 1992. Doug Flutie is the new quarterback. Can the CFL's MVP from 1991 take the Calgary Stampeders that extra step? Tonight, the CFL's brightest stars, the Rocket, and Doug Flutie strut their stuff as the CFL puts its show on display. It's preseason football from Portland and a Grey Cup rematch between the Argos and Stampeders. TSN presents the CFL Game of the Week. Today's game from Portland, Oregon is brought to you by Pepsi. Gotta have it. In a city experiencing a record-setting heat wave, we've come to Portland to see how warm the reception will be for the Canadian Football League. It's preseason football south of the border as the Stamps take on the Argos. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the CFL Game of the Week, a special preseason edition from Portland. I'm Gord Miller. Not since 1958 has the CFL played a preseason game outside of Canada. And while this game won't count in the standings, it's safe to say that this may be the most important game played in the CFL this year. The league's looking for new markets and money. Portland is a sports-hungry city looking for a new team. It looks like a match made in heaven. So does our commentary team, already in mid-season form. Here again are John Wells and Leif Pedersen.
Gord, thank you very much. It is nice to be here to kick off a new season with a preseason game that means something. It's a chance for the CFL to showcase its game and its marquee players.
It really is, John. You know, I haven't been involved in a preseason game of this importance for a long, long time. The players realize that, and that's the way they're going to play the game tonight. It will not be like other preseason games where you'll see a lot of rookies. The veterans are going to carry the load and try and put on a great show.
And as we look at the stars of this show tonight, they'll need no introduction to an American audience. There's Doug Flutie for starters, number 22 for the Stampeders now.
Well, he had a dream year last year in 1991, league MVP. But you know what? This is a new season, a new team, and new players to play with. So this is a very important game for Doug Flutie. He has to get his timing down with a new group, and so look for him to play his hardest tonight, that's for sure.
And also needing no introduction tonight will be the Rocket, number 25 for the Argos.
Well, he got off to a slow start last year, but by the end of the season, everybody knew what kind of a threat Rocket was when he touched the football. And the scary part of things is Adam Rita says he's had an unbelievable camp, and you haven't seen the best of the Rocket yet. So the fans in Portland tonight are in for a real treat.
We'll look forward to that and to this football match here at the Portland Civic Stadium tonight. We're happy to bring it to you, Gord.
Thanks very much, gentlemen. It's a preseason game. That means plenty. Want to see some great football? Stick around. The Stamps and Argos are next.
Welcome to Portland in the Civic Stadium as we get set for the first Canadian Football League game played in the United States since 1958. Adam Rita, the Grey Cup winning coach, Wally Buono, the runner-up, will display their teams, and we'll start with two solid offensive squads here tonight. We're ready for the kickoff, and the Argos have it underway. On the return, Pee Wee Smith. Smith finds a hole, and quickly he's out across the 45 to midfield, which is the 50-yard line in this ballpark. Stopped by Paul Masati, number 88 for the Argos. The field is 100 yards long and 65 yards wide. The end zones are 10 yards And Doug Flutie gets set for his first official sequence as a Calgary Stampeder. Flutie has changed his sweater number from the famous number 22 to number 20 as the quarterback for the Stampeders. 1st and 10 for Calgary at the 47. Flutie near side has a man open. Derek Crawford, number 83. Offensively, the Stampeders have some changes up front.
They have
retirements.
A lot of rebuilding to do. Leo Blanchard and Lloyd Fairbanks from the right side are gone. Luke Cavazzo moves in, a former defensive player. Kenny Moore moves over. Larry Clarkson from the BC Lions is playing tackle. A great group of receivers to work with. Carl Bland. Derek Crawford is back from that ankle injury. Of course, Keevan Jenkins and Andy McVeigh were the backfield of last year. So a great group for Doug Flutie to work with.
14-yard pickup at his 1st and 10. And Campbell reads the play well. Mike Campbell stopping Keevan Jenkins, number 23. The Argos with a very tough defense in 1991. There are not many changes for the Argos to begin this 1992 season. They're beginning with a veteran core in this preseason game here tonight.
Oh, it's a solid defense. Mike Campbell made the play there, and I would have to think he was certainly the most improved Argonaut in 1991. He led the team in sacks, and pretty tough defensive front four that Flutie will go against tonight.
2nd and 10. Flutie over the middle, and Alan Pitts makes the catch at the 20-yard line. Pitts in front of Don Wilson, number 20.
Well, it's not surprising to me that Doug Flutie on the first drive on 2nd and long goes to Alan Pitts, who set a CFL record last year with 118 receptions, a 19-yard pickup for Pitts there. Good in pattern. Doug Flutie with good time to throw. And that really will be the key for him tonight. Offensive line that's being revamped. Can they protect Flutie? That's a real question mark for the Stampeders.
Quickly on a couple of first downs, the Stampeders are at the Argo 20, 1st and 10. Keevan Jenkins, and not much running room for Jenkins as he's met by Jeff Braswell, number 57.
John, we talk about an Argo defense that is a veteran group, the same group up front that started the season last year. Brian Warren, a real bonus last year. Of course, Mike Campbell, we talked about him. In the middle, Jeff Braswell will get every opportunity to take over from Chris Gaines, who retired, and the defensive secondary, that is an awesome, awesome group. Reggie
Almost
Pleasant.
airtight.
Oh, it is. Reggie Pleasant and Ed Berry on the corners. Nobody better than those two.
2nd and 10 for Flutie and the Stampeders. Flutie out of the pocket, throwing on the run, looks to the end zone. Almost a miracle catch by Alan Pitts, number 18. Carl Brazeley, number 7, covering on Alan Pitts that time. Two outstanding slot backs on display here tonight. We'll see Darrell K. Smith offensively for the Argos a little later on.
You know, there have been a lot of great slot backs to play in this game. Tommy Scott, among others, come to mind, but no two better, really, than Alan Pitts and Darrell K. Smith. That time, Doug Flutie with all kinds of time to throw the football, and that will spell a lot of danger for the Argonauts tonight if they can't get a little more heat on Flutie than that.
That sets up a field goal drive from 27 yards away, and Mark McLaughlin is on target as the Stampeders score on the opening drive. Let's join Gord Miller.
With a very special guest, the man who's been the topic of discussion in Canada and the U.S., the quarterback of the defending Super Bowl champion Washington Redskins, now a free agent, Mark Rippon. Mark, Toronto fans love to see you in the Argo hat. How the discussion's gone with Bruce McNall?
Well, Gordon, it's gone real well. I think first and foremost, you know, that we're here today because of reasons. We felt this hand wouldn't be dealt, and Bruce has given us an opportunity and a chance to seek, employment elsewhere if things didn't work out. So we had a good chat with him today, and felt, not only where I can go, but where the CFL can go, and I think that's what's important. The players, I think the towns and everything that are involved in the Canadian Football League nowadays are a vital resource for Canada, and it's something that's been there since the early days. So I think, if we can form a structure something together that can be worked out and benefit, not only Argonauts but the Canadian Football League in general, I think it'll be important and something at least to look at. But first and foremost is the Redskins. We'll see where this leads us to. I've never wanted to leave the Redskins, but unfortunately the way things have gone, this is where it's led to.
Mark, thanks very much, and we'll look forward to perhaps seeing you in the CFL.
Thanks, Gordon. Appreciate it.
What a well-spoken guy. Wouldn't that be something if Mark Rippon came from the Super Bowl to the CFL?
Well, you know, John, each team is allowed a marquee player whose salary will be exempt from the salary cap. Now, the Rocket's salary is exempt. He's gone by himself, so the Argonauts still have room to add a marquee player's salary to their team, and Mark Rippon's certainly salary would qualify for that, I'm sure.
Back for an Argo first down as Foggy goes to the far side. And Darrell Hall makes the stop on Rocket Ismail. Not much gain for Rocket on the far side. Here are the Argos up front, and one change up there, at least for the start of the season, as Green is sitting up there, number 61, Chris Green.
And an awesome receiving core. Rocket Ismail, David Williams. If Paul Mazzotti gets a start, he will trade off with Andrew Murray and Darrell K. Smith. Mike Pinball Clements in the backfield. He will see a lot of action. A lot of superstars to get the ball to. That's probably the biggest problem Ricky Foggy will have.
Gain was 1 on the previous play. This is 2nd and 9. Foggy had Clemens open and overthrew him as Clemens was decked down near the 35. Darrell Hall, number 7, covering on the play.
Well, Foggy had all kinds of time to throw this football. He got a beautiful matchup with Pinball Clemens down the seam of the field. He just overthrew him a little bit, and Pinball paid the price. As number 7, Darrell Hall, will come from the left of your screen and put a pretty good hit on Mike Clemens. And that's what Darrell Hall is famous for. He's 6'2", 205 pounds, All-Canadian last year, and pretty much an All-Canadian because of his physical presence on the field. Anytime a receiver's in his area, he makes his presence known.
Hank Olisic beginning his 16th CFL season, and what a career it has been. He has been to the Grey Cup 9 times and won 7, including last year with the Argos. Little pressure on Olisic. He got it away. Pee Wee Smith forced out across the 25. 43-yard kick, and Jim Rockford was over to force Smith out. Stampeders leading 3-0 and a 27-yard field goal by Mark McLaughlin. Second possession for Doug Flutie. What numbers Flutie put up on the board last year. 38 touchdowns at the bottom of that last, but 6,600 yards passing. Absolutely amazing.
That really was. And when you look at that touchdown total, you add the 14 in that he scored himself rushing. He accounted for 52 touchdowns last season. Phenomenal performance.
Key Van Jenkins on first down from the 27. Jenkins hit as he turns the corner. Hit by Don Wilson, number 20.
Well, it's early in the first quarter in the Stampeders' second possession, and already really one of the problems they've faced is 2nd and long. It seems like on every series that they have had, this is the situation. They've elected to run the ball on first down, have not been able to get any kind of sufficient yardage. So once again, Doug Flutie with a 2nd and long.
Make it 2nd and 8 from the 27. Stampeders in the lead by 3. Flutie forced out, goes to the far side, and incomplete for Alan Pitts, number 18. Braswell was over there, but covering on the play was Don Wilson, number 20.
That's what Doug Flutie does best. When he is flushed from the pocket, he becomes oh so dangerous. The threat to run the football. This time he elects to throw to Pitts. Pitts open early, but Don Wilson with a nice recovery, and Alan Pitts just couldn't hang on to that low throw. So 2nd and long really does cost the Stampeders. They're going to have to get better production on first down.
Brett Matich, Western All-Star punter last year, gets it high. The flags are down as Ismail makes the catch near the 35. But it looks like the Stampeders were in just a little close on punt coverage on the Rocket that time. Stampeders leading 3-0 in the Toronto Argos. And we'll continue from Portland in a moment.
No yards. Calgary offense. Third
Back
down
live
repeated.
at Civic Stadium in Portland. Offside against the Calgary Stampeders. Offside against the Argos.
Offside Argos, no yards Calgary, so they're going to do it all over again.
Matich standing back near his 5-yard line this time. Pretty good crowd on hand. We don't have an official count yet. They were hoping to have in excess of 15,000.
Nice stadium, though. It's a small, intimate park. Everybody close to the action here. Sight lines are very good. This is the Portland Beavers that play AAA baseball here.
Pacific Coast League, Portland Beavers. We've got a microphone on Argo quarterback Ricky Foggy tonight, so we'll be able to listen in and find out what the Argos are trying to do with their game plan tonight, and hopefully you'll understand all the terminology that's out there, Apaches and Aces and Kings and all that.
Well, they have a very sophisticated system. The difficulty in trying to determine what they're doing is their plays change so much on the run. They have a set pattern called, and of course, when you leave the line of scrimmage, if the defense does something you don't expect, their patterns change on the go. Very diversified attack that they have, but I think the fans at home will really enjoy listening to Ricky Foggy and some of the things that he will call in the huddle and, of course, at the line of scrimmage.
I'm looking forward to listening in on the ninja stuff, particularly, you know, when you describe the Michelangelos and all of that.
Yeah, they have the ninja offense tonight. We're going to see it, and it is beyond belief. We'll try and describe it for you when it occurs.
Brent Manage set to kick it again. Stepping across the 10-yard line to left foot this one away. Here's the Rocket. Looks one way and goes back the other. Gets one block, and Rocket has explosive speed down the left side. As he gets across the 50 and stopped there by number 25, Dave Suplenges.
Well, the great thing about the Rocket is he is able to stand there and really freeze the punt cover team until he sees an opening. And then with his tremendous speed, he's able to accelerate and get away from the initial tacklers. And watch how he does it right there. There's the freeze right there. And 30 Kent Leonard. Now the wall forms to the outside. He's able to get it. But look at all the Calgary players. They're bunched together, and they really don't have the coverage that they want. And that's what makes the Rocket so dangerous.
Foggy looking for Darrell K. Smith. Coverage that time by Errol Tucker. Errol Tucker, I should say. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 47.
You all right? Let's go. Give me a right. Give me a red. Stop 9 on 3. On 3. Ready?
Foggy on 2nd down. Throwing under pressure, and it's intercepted, intended for Rocket, and picked off by Errol Tucker. He lost it. And now the Stampeders continue along with Peterson. Greg Peterson, number 24. Finally stopped by Foggy. I thought the Tucker was down, a 51-yard interception return, but they haven't taken it back. So the turnover, a big one as far as the Calgary Stampeders are concerned.
Probably a ball that Ricky Foggy shouldn't have thrown. It goes to show you what pressure can do. Will Johnson, number 81, gets a hold of Foggy's leg, and as he is going down, he tries to force the ball into Rocket Ismail. He floats it high. Errol Tucker with the interception, the first turnover of the ball game, and the first big break for the Calgary Stampeders. That's a nice catch on the interception.
1st and 10, Stampeders inside the 20. Good fake by Flutie to Pitts. Now Flutie to the 10, the 5, and touch. No, hang on, he stopped at the 1. Stopped by Carl Brazeley at the 1-yard line.
Oh, the Portland fans think he was in.
It was close at the line.
They wanted to see Doug Flutie score. I mean, they remember this name from Boston College and a few other teams in the NFL. Nice play fake to Alan Pitts on the reverse, and nobody comes open, so Flutie does what he is so famous for, tucks it under his arm and takes off on the run. Remember, 14 times he scored last year, and does he get in? Well, that's pretty close. Hey, it's preseason for the officials, too. We'll give them a break.
1st and goal to go for the Stampeders, who lead 3-0. Not that time. Eric Mitchell, number 21, met by Jeff Braswell. Well, Braswell hasn't lost any of his shenanigans.
Well, the middle linebacker has to make the play in short yardage defense. You see Braswell scrape off the tackle. The defensive line does a good job penetrating, stuffing the hole, and allow Braswell to come through the opening and stop Eric Mitchell. Actually, he lost about a half a yard on that play.
It'll be 2nd and goal to go. Stampeders at the Argo 2. Flutie puts it up this time. It's knocked down, intended for Andy McVeigh, and Reggie Pleasant had his hand up just in time.
Oh, I think Doug Flutie would like to have that one over again. A super play fake. He had Andy McVeigh wide open, but he just feathered that football a little too softly. And Reggie Pleasant, with a great recovery, knocked it loose. And sure, why not gamble? It's preseason. You see that ball hangs up in the air just a little too long, and Reggie Pleasant with a good recovery. Preseason, go for it. Hey, why not?
Why not?
Sure.
Third, goal to go. Stampeders at the Argo 2. It's 3-0 Calgary. Flutie looks to throw again, and this time he's on the money for Alan Pitts. A 2-yard touchdown toss, Doug Flutie to Alan Pitts.
It's no secret now in two crucial situations, a 2nd and long and now a 3rd and goal. Flutie goes to Alan Pitts, the #1 target for the Stampeders last year. He gets inside Carl Brazeley, the good catch, and he throws a souvenir into this crowd here in Portland. The Stampeders take advantage of the Errol Tucker interception.
Mark McLaughlin makes it 10-0 for the Calgary Stampeders on the Toronto Argos. And this sequence all set up on an interception return, the interception by Tucker, and then a 51-yard return by Greg Peterson.
A nice job by Alan Pitts to get inside Carl Brazeley. You know, he has a height and size advantage, and he worked his way into an open spot. Doug Flutie found him, and the Calgary Stampeders convert.
Get some orange tape, would you?
He's had a couple of great seasons in Canadian football already.
Well, if you were going to build a slot back, you would take Alan Pitts, and he would be the clone for everyone else. He's 6'4", he's 200 pounds, he has soft hands, he reads zones well, he's a good receiver against man-to-man coverage where he works the defensive back as he did on that touchdown reception. He is an unbelievable player, and you know, and he's a really nice guy too. All his teammates really like him, and what an asset he has been in Calgary.
Ready for the Stampeder kickoff. Calgary leading 10-0. The Rocket out across the 35 near the 38-yard line. A Grey Cup rematch between the Argos and the Stampeders. And the scoring drive rather quick, but it was 3rd down and goal to go from the 2-yard line when Flutie hit Alan Pitts. 1st and 10 for the Argos. Foggy intercepted on his last pass, looks for the Rocket, and the tight coverage supplied by Errol Tucker once more.
Well, perfect timing by Errol Tucker on the Rocket. He knew he had help to the inside from Greg Peterson, so he allowed Rocket to work to the inside. He didn't fight him when Rocket makes the post move here, and now watch at the last second. He will have perfect timing. He comes over the top, and you know, the fans call for interference here, but I don't think you can play it any better than Errol Tucker did. He's having good first quarter, interception and knockdown right there.
Played 3 games for the Stampeders last season. He was involved in the Grey Cup. It'll be 2nd and 10. Argos at the 37 from the shotgun. Foggy, some pressure, and Foggy is down by Alondro Johnson, number 51.
Well, pretty much what has happened to the Calgary Stampeders in their first 2 series. The Toronto Argonauts find themselves continuously in a 2nd and long situation. The pressure obviously starts to come. The blitz is on. Alondra Johnson from the middle linebacking spot gets the sack on the blitz. Matt Finley was coming as well. So the Calgary Stampeders not only have scored a touchdown, they get great defense. The Argos are 2 and out, and the Stamps will get the ball back in a hurry.
Angelisic inside his 20. Aiming this from the sidelines. Stampeders get a decent bounce. Return for Derek Crawford. And he was met by Kevin Smelly, number 5 for the Argos. 33-yard kick that time. Not much of a return. Bruce McNall looks in from the sidelines. His Argos are down by 10. League, Toronto versus Calgary at the Portland Civic Stadium. A Grey Cup rematch with Calgary in front, 10-0. in the first quarter. Gord?
Thanks very much, John. Bruce McNall is with me now, the owner of the Toronto Argonauts. Mark Rippon's about 5 feet away from us. Bring us up to date on how those talks are going.
Oh, we had a good conversation. I think he definitely is very interested in playing in the Canadian Football League, and he is Canadian, as you know, and his father told him one day, I'd like you to play with at least a year of the CFL, and I think it means a lot to Mark. We had a nice conversation about things, and we're going to move forward and investigate what the possibilities might be for our team and really for the league in general.
All right, let's talk about Portland now. The crowd seems to like the game. They're enthusiastic. What do you think the chances are of expansion?
Well, I think they're very good. I mean, like I say, the crowd is terrific. They seem to really enjoy it. They're getting a big kick out of this game, and I hope we can put on a good show for them. And I think there's a very good chance for expansion here in the near future.
Bruce, thanks very much.
Happy to. Thank you very much.
It's a nice little ballpark for football. Capacity, they say, can be 28,000. It's not a full house here tonight, but there is some enthusiasm for football, CFL style, in Portland, Oregon. Stampeders leading 10-0. Calgary 1st and 10 at the 47. Flutie looks to the far side. No one open. Now he finds a man. Far side. Crawford makes the catch. Big game for Derek Crawford as he tries to come back from a very serious injury last season. 23-yard pickup there. And it's rather important to the Stampeders to get this guy back healthy and in the lineup.
It really is. He had a severely broken ankle last year, and this is a real test for him tonight. He's playing against Ed Barry and Reggie Pleasant. They are two excellent corners. So Derek Crawford, a wonderful opportunity to reestablish himself as one of the better receivers in the Canadian Football League.
1st and 10 Stampeders now at the Argo 29. This is Eric Mitchell, number 21. Mitchell caught from behind and slowed down, finally dropped at the 25. Dave Bovell, number 29, in on the tackle, as was Jeff Braswell.
Well, Eric Mitchell got a brief opportunity late in the season last year, and he has some tremendous speed, a little different than Keevan Jenkins, the starter. Keevan Jenkins more of a power runner. Eric Mitchell more of the Reggie Taylor scat-back style of play, and of course that's so well suited for the Canadian Football League.
Mitchell slightly shaken up. Jenkins is back in at the running back spot for the Stampeders. 2nd and 5. Pressure on Flutie. He got away from the first, but not from the second Argo through, which is Harold Hallman. Don Moen, number 36, was first, and Hallman was there for the pin.
Toronto comes with the safety halfback blitz. Carl Braisley, and Keevan Jenkins stays in to provide protection initially, but Donnie Moen blew through so quickly, and the initial pressure on Flutie. Harold Hallman then cleans up. Yeah,
Oh.
that's the pose he does. It's from the Karate Kid. Remember that move?
Oh, yeah,
sure. That's what it is.
Mark McLaughlin, a 41-yard field goal try this time. He's 1 for 1 on the Knights. He's wide on this one. Stampeders add to their lead. McLaughlin missed from 41. It's 11-0. Calgary leading Toronto in Portland, Oregon. As well as Portland's CFL bid. We'll take a closer look and see if they are really interested here in Oregon. And Leaf will have highlights and the telestrator. Commissioner of the NBA, David Stern, is also in attendance. Of course, yesterday in Portland, this has been a busy week here. The NBA draft. And later, there'll be Olympic basketball qualifying.
Monday night.
That on TSN as Canada takes on the United States. 1st and 10 Argos, beginning at the 34 this time. Mike Clemens, number 31. Tough running inside for Clemens.
Give me a T right. Give me a hot 50 DO first down. Ready?
Well, we're trying to listen in with Ricky Foggy. Unfortunately, having a little technical problem there, and we'll see if we can get that rectified.
The gain was 3. This is 2nd and 7, and Foggy escapes. He'll have a first down out across the 45-yard line. Stopped by Alondra Johnson. That's the first down for the Argos this night.
Give me a tar right. Pop 6 rub, 30 sound. Ready?
Pop 6, that's going to be Pinball Clements going to the 6 hole, which is to the right side.
Instead to Darrell K. Smith. Steps out of bounds. I thought you had that down.
I did.
I believed you completely. Forced out by Kenton Leonard. Darrell K. Smith.
Well, Darrell K. had a little contractual problem at the beginning of training camp. That is all sorted out. He is back. He is happy, and that is good news for the Argonauts, as he will undoubtedly be a favorite target for Ricky Foggy. And, well, you have to respect his downfield speed, so when he goes out to the flat, almost impossible for number 30, Kenton Leonard, to stay with him.
You the same. Monday. Go!
Foggy underneath the cover. Mazzotti, number 88, stopped by Matt Finley.
Well, it's taken a few series for Ricky Foggy to get comfortable, but finally he's got a good drive going here, mixing the ball up nicely. Darrell K. Smith now to Mazzotti underneath, and I think that's what will be the telling tale. A little late hit from Kent Warnock, but if Ricky Foggy can be patient all this year, he's the #1 guy. It's his job to lose, and if he can be patient, that will do him well.
Foggy man open. It's Pinball Clemens, and that'll be a first down for the Argos. That's 3 in a row for the Argos. Inside the Stampeder 30, met by Johnson, and that is Will Johnson, number 81, left defensive end. 7-yard gain for the Argos. 1st and 10, Calgary 30.
Let's go. Give me a right change. Give me a red stop 1 on 1. Ready? Go! 16! 16!
Ricky Foggy in double coverage that time. Flag is down back at the line of scrimmage. Referee tonight, Dave Ewell.
Holding. Toronto offense number 54. First down repeated.
That's the center, Blaine Schmidt. Interesting to note that it is a CFL officiating crew here tonight, bolstered by a couple of officials from Portland, 2 from the Pac-10 conference down here. Harvey Jones is the side judge, and Jack Folliard is the umpire. So a little mix of American and Canadian football officiating.
Right. Hot 54 Stiller on 1. Ready? Go! 16!
1st and 20 Argos. Foggy under the cover, and it's no good. Intended for Paul Nastasiuk, number 27. So the Argos will face 2nd and 20 when the second quarter gets underway in Portland. Calgary Stampeders lead the Argos 11-0 after quarter number 1. And this, a Grey Cup expansion experiment. What do you think? Do you think the CFL should expand to the United States? 50 cents a call. Why not get a vote in? For yes, 1-900-273-0040. If you think the answer is no, give us a call on the other line. 2nd down and 20 to go for the Argos at the 40. Foggy with a good fake to buy some time. Out of the right side, looking deep. Underthrew his receiver, and the receiver was number 25, Rocket.
Yeah, I think the Rocket should have had it.
Yeah.
Boy, he did a great job to come back to the football. He had it, but could not hang on.
Errol Tucker almost had another interception there. Numbers from the opening quarter favor the Calgary Stampeders on the scoreboard, as well as in total offense, 82 compared to 38. Net yards 72 to 30, and the one turnover went against the Argos. Lance Chomick gets his chance to put the Argos on the scoreboard for the first time, trailing 11-0 right now. 46 yards out. Chomick is wide. Pee Wee Smith on the return. Slowed down by Dan Ferroni, number 69, and finally pinned. Wally Buono has the lead. He's also wearing a microphone tonight, so we'll listen in on some conversations at the Stampeder bench tonight.
Good job. Don, Daryl's out. He's dazed. Okay, play halfback, okay? No, Pete, set it up nice and get to the wall. You're going to score, okay? Come on. So you got to call the pick when the inside receiver goes in and picks the halfback off, okay? Thank you.
1st and 10 Stampeders. Flutie to the near side for Carl Bland, number 85. Met there by Brian Smith. Daryl Hall is out, I believe. He was saying Daryl is out, dazed down there, according to Stampeder bench.
I wanted you to turn him around so I can hit him. You got to step him around, too, how to hit him.
Gain is 5, 2nd and 5 Calgary from the 29. Flutie has Alan Pitts, and Pitts should have the first down. He was across the 35 and met there by Ken Benson.
Calgary going to a trips formation to the wide side of the field. Alan Pitts is the middle receiver, and he just works into an open area between the halfback and the new linebacker, Ken Benson, and Doug Flutie finds him for a first down.
And Flutie over the middle again for Alan Pitts once more. He fights to the 45, and Benson, number 73, makes the tackle again. From the University of Arkansas, Ken Benson in his rookie season with the Argos. Played briefly with the Eagles.
This is Calgary's second preseason game. They played in Hamilton last Sunday night. Alan Pitts did not play in that game, so conversation with him yesterday, he told me he was very eager to get back into action tonight, and it appears that way. He's had a lot of good catches so far in the first half.
On 2nd and 1, the Stampeders convert easily. On the bench, Daryl Hall being attended to by the Stampeder medical staff. Young fan from Portland, hopefully enjoying the football evening here.
Yeah, he's got the Trailblazers card there.
Yeah. 1st and 10, Stampeders at the 45. Flutie releases in a hurry, and again it's Alan Pitts. Down to the 35. Eric Ringon, number 40, making a stop for the Argos.
A great read by Doug Flutie so quickly. Alan Pitts cleared the linebacker Keith Costello, and no sooner had he breezed past him and the ball is in the air, and there it is. You see Keith Costello is dead in the water. Alan Pitts with the easy catch, and Doug Flutie seems to really have command here of his offense in the second quarter.
From the 35, Stampeders first down. Flutie looking to the corner for Carl Bland. He makes the catch, but he's a little out of bounds.
That's one thing that Ed Barry, the corner for the Argonauts, does so well. I mean, Bland was in behind him, but Barry had such good position that the only way Bland could catch the football was out of bounds. Barry forced him to the sidelines, and Carl Bland, who was a late addition to the Stampeders last year, is a good one, but Ed Barry won the battle there.
2nd and 10. Flutie for Alan Pitts. This combination is working well. Pitts away from one tackle. He'll have the first down, and he gets inside the 15. Stopped by Jim Rockford of the Argos. A 21-yard gain for Alan Pitts. 1,764 yards for Pitts last season.
Alan Pitts is having a field day. Here he lines up here, and this is Keith Costello, the linebacker. When Keith Costello goes out, Pitts curls around him, let it run, and it's pretty easy pickings for Doug Flutie. Watch Pitts work into the open. There he is. Flutie finds him, and the Calgary Stampeders have put together an excellent drive.
Alan Pitts, 6 catches, 75 yards, and 1 touchdown.
He'll wish this game counted.
Absolutely.
You know?
Talked about it earlier today with some of the players, particularly the Stampeders, and actually Alan Pitts talking about timing with a new quarterback. As good a quarterback as Doug Flutie is, working with new receivers, it has to be a little bit of a slow process to learn where the receivers are going to be.
You know, Flutie and I had a very interesting conversation before the game, and I said, compare this group of receivers to the one you worked with in BC last year.
That's not fair to ask that.
No, the BC group was an excellent group, but what he said, and this is true, the Calgary Stampeders are a faster group as a whole, and what they do sometimes is run through areas. They don't choke down in the holes of zones, and he has to try and teach that to him. Alan Pitts is one of the good ones. He will find the open spot and stay there, but Flutie says although they're a little quicker, sometimes it can be a detriment. So they are working very hard here in preseason to get their timing down. That's not a knock on the BC line receivers.
No.
That is an awesome group they have. Oh, Matt Clark, Trevathan, Ray Alexander. That is a good group.
And coming out of the backfield, John Volpe.
Not bad.
What you got here, John? Strong or weak?
Oh, baby, let's go, Red.
John Huffnagel calling the signals on the sidelines for the Stampeders. It is 1st and 15, or 1st and 10 from the 15. Flutie trying to buy some time, looking to a very short end zone. And it is no catch down there.
Well, this is an adjustment that the teams are going to have to make tonight. A short end zone. Derek Crawford is used to receiving a bomb from the 15-yard line or such, and tonight they have to worry about that 10 yards, and he tries to stay in bounds, but there you clearly see it. An excellent call. The official's right on the spot, and no way did he have both feet in.
One of the things the players were talking about yesterday was the shortness of the end zones. Only 10 yards for this game in Portland. 2nd and 10, quickly over the middle and down to the 5-yard line. Narrowly missing the first down. Stop made by Brian Smith. Sean Beals making the catch. He had a pretty good year last year. Sean Beals, number 88. Played in 17 games.
He caught 64 passes last season. 7 touchdowns. And once again, the Calgary Stampeders are faced with a 3rd down situation. They will gamble. It's preseason. Why not?
Stamps leading 11-0. 3rd and 1 at the 6-yard line.
Last time they threw for the touchdown.
Evan Jenkins tries to get to the outside. There's a flag, and he gets to the 5-yard line. We'll see who the infraction is against.
Right here, Bill. Ball play right here.
Argos offside. Is that the initial indication? Procedure call against Flutie and the Stampeders. We'll take a look.
Must have occurred along the right side of the line. See if you can see someone move. There it is. The tight end, I think it's Sreko Zizakovic, who comes in on short yardage.
Fence, number 96. 3rd down repeated.
So the Stampeders will have to settle for 3. Chip shot for Mark McLaughlin. Good on 1 of 2 so far tonight. No mistake about that one. It is right out of the park.
Almost back into Washington.
Very close to Washington State here in Oregon. Stampeders in front, 14-0. Our game of the week on TSN, a preseason encounter. The Grey Cup rematch between Calgary and Toronto. The Argos won in Winnipeg. The Stampeders lead by 14 here. Gord?
Peter Jacobson Productions helped put on this game tonight, and the PGA player is with us now. How do you like it so far?
Oh, I love it. The city of Portland is really excited about CFL, and we've got a great turnout tonight. This is a pretty exciting game to see.
Now, if there is a CFL team coming to Portland, you'd like to be involved?
I'd like to be involved from an ownership standpoint. Paul Allen, who owns the Blazers, is very interested, as I am, and a few other individuals. And Portland, is a small town, which I think fits very, very well for the CFL. The CFL, we see it on TV. We don't get to see it live. So this is really a treat.
Now, how likely do you think it would be for the CFL to come here, say, next year?
Well, I think there's a good chance. I've been talking a lot with Larry Smith, the CFL commissioner, and a lot of the parties involved, both on Calgary's side and Toronto's side. Bruce McNall is here, and I think they're having a good time, and I think it's time for the CFL to grow, and we'll just see how well they do down in the old US of A.
Great talking to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
At 33, 1st down. Ready?
You're hearing the voice of Ricky Foggy, where the Argos are 1st down.
Just a quick three-step drop. He's going to try and hit somebody quickly in the flat. There it is, Daryl Smith.
Daryl Smith couldn't hang on.
Anytime you hear Ricky Foggy say 30-something, that means a quick throw, a three-step drop. The receivers are going to set up quickly downfield. That's what they did, but a good hit forced Daryl Smith to drop that ball.
59-8. 59-8.
Watch for the hook to Daryl Smith to the wide side.
Monday.
59 means Daryl Smith's going to hook. That's where Foggy's looking. There it is.
2nd and 10. Smith makes the catch, then dropped the ball. Recovered by the Stampeders and picked up by Ray Isaac. So Foggy, a victim. After coming up with the necessary first down yardage, Daryl K. Smith couldn't hang on. Another turnover the way of the Stampeders.
Well, Ricky Foggy can't throw the football any better. Daryl Smith makes the nice catch, finds the open spot, and as he goes upfield, the hit by Alondra Johnson, 51, forces the ball loose. And Ray Isaac with the recovery. The Stampeders with a couple of turnovers here now in the first half.
First one led to their touchdown.
Well, excuse us. We've been calling him Ray Isaac. Charles Anthony has changed his number on us, as they so often do in preseason. He is now wearing number 9, so we'll credit him with that fumble recovery.
Evan Jenkins carrying for Calgary and met by Keith Costello. So I've made that correction. He was number 41 on my program, but he is now number 9. Carl Anthony. Charles Anthony. There is a Carl Anthony, too. That is definitely Charles.
We hope.
Gain is 4, 2nd down and 6.
Let's go, bro. Daddy, use it, baby.
Flutie on target, out near the 50. And that'll be enough for the first down. A penalty flag comes down after the reception is made. Jim Rockford was covering a face mask infraction. A reminder about our phone poll tonight. Do you think the CFL should expand to the United States? If you think yes, 1-900-273-0040. Your response is no, 1-900-273-0041. 50 cents a call.
That is a good one.
29, 15-yard penalty, first down.
I am really interested to see how the fans react to that question. We had our own little poll today, and you and I said that they would say, yes, we want to expand to the U.S.
I thought that'd be the reaction.
I think so. We shall see.
With the penalty and the reception, the Stampeders are at the 29 with a first down. Flutie, time to throw. Sean Beals, the intended receiver. Jim Rockford there to knock it down.
Jim Rockford really fighting for a job with the Toronto Argonauts. Of course, he spent so much time with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, briefly with Edmonton, and now finding himself deep in his career looking to catch on with the Argonauts this season. He reacts to the football, waits till it's in the air, and then he comes up and makes the play on Sean Beals, and that is good defensive coverage in the secondary. Dave Bovell also in on that.
Second and 10, Stampeders at the 29, flag down. Flutie being pursued. He gets it away. Sidelines far side. Carl Bland couldn't bring it in. Some early movement from the left side.
Well, Doug Flutie changed the cadence just enough to draw Eric Lindstrom offside. He knew he had a free play.
Second down repeated. 5-yard penalty.
He looks very comfortable with his new team.
Well, he should fit in well. We talked about the great core of receivers that he has in Calgary. Pretty good offensive unit. Insert a quarterback like Doug Flutie into the middle of this.
They were a good team before they signed him, and they are an even better team, obviously, now with Doug Flutie in there, and that's not a knock on Danny Barrett. Hopefully he will do extremely well with the BC Lions, but Doug Flutie did post some interesting numbers last season.
Stampeders are looking for a little help on the right side with Leo Blanchard gone and Lloyd Fairbanks retired. Two veterans on the right side of the offensive line.
Should be in the end zone.
Second and 10. Flutie for Carl Bland. And he's to the 15. Rockford in on the tackle once more. Here Wally in the background a second ago saying he thought that play should be in the end zone. Not quite.
Coaches think every play. I mean, it's designed to go in the end zone. It certainly doesn't work that way.
Good job, Andy. Way to get the crease. Way to get the crease. He went halfback run, huh? It's good.
Evan Jenkins inside for 15 and met by Eric Ringon.
All yours.
Toronto Argonauts have to replace Darryl Ford, who was a tremendous linebacker with them last year. That is the most hotly contested position so far in preseason. Eric Ringon made the play there. He is involved in a real fight with Ken Benson to see who will start that outside linebacking spot. The rest of the defense is solid. That's the only question mark area for the Argonauts.
Second down. And it's picked off by Ed Berry. First turnover going in the way of the Argos.
Toronto Argonauts needed a break. The Calgary Stampeders have totally controlled this first half. The Argonauts have not had a break up until this point, and Ed Berry makes a spectacular play to step in front of the post pattern, gets the interception. Pee Wee Smith on the post, Ed Berry with the interception.
So the first turnover the way of the Argonauts. Ed Berry's interception, but the Argos trailing 14-0 start deep in their own zone. Welcome back to Portland, Oregon. Our game of the week, a preseason encounter, the Grey Cup rematch between the Calgary Stampeders and the Toronto Argonauts. Stampeders lead 14-0 as we head toward halftime. 4:41 till a half, and the Argos are first and 10 from the 4 after an Ed Berry touch interception.
Okay, let's go. Give me a left formation. Give me a 49, reverse that right, first down. Ready? First.
A reverse to Ismail. He's out across the 15-yard line. Good call in a situation like that.
Oh, it's the normal call. Do a reverse out of your own end zone. I mean, don't expect the Toronto Argonauts to do the orthodox. They always like to do the unorthodox and catch teams off guard, and they certainly did with this play. Mike Clements on the sweep flips to Rocket Ismail, and looks as though he might have had a little more room to the outside. He chooses to cut upfield, get the first down, and certainly get them out of trouble.
Scat 32. Scat 32. Tuesday. Oh, hut.
Argos first down. Foggy to the far side of the 20-yard line. He has the reception.
Second down.
David Williams. Lots of weapons in the Argonaut offense.
59-8.
That's the same pattern again to Derek Smith. Or DK Smith. That's who he's looking to on the hook. He's to the wide side of the field.
And Williams, the intended receiver for the second time in a row. It'll be 3rd and 6. So the Argo offense has sputtered a little bit so far tonight. Stampeders have been able to move the football with Flutie at the controls a little more easily than the Argos have.
Oh, outside.
Woo!
3-minute warning here till halftime. Adam Rita down by 14 to Wally Buono. The Calgary Stampeders will continue live from Portland in a moment. Yeah, I'd say those guys are Rocket supporters with the Notre Dame shirts on down there.
Calgary shirt on too.
Yeah. Hank Olisic standing near his 5-yard line. Into the final 3 minutes of the opening half. Got a deep kick for Olisic, bouncing near the 50. A 29-yard punt, and not much of a return for Errol Tucker, as he was met by Dave Van Bellingham.
Come on, man, let's go, let's go, let's go. That's another one. Oh.
Great success as the head coach of the Calgary Stampeders. Wally Buono, 11-6-1 in his rookie season. 11-7 last year.
He has an excellent staff working with him. John Huffnagel, his offensive coordinator. Don Southern runs the defense, and the rest of the coaching staff really has helped Wally Buono achieve such a good record.
1st and 10, Calgary. Flutie under pressure. And I think he threw that one away. It left the park.
See, this is the U.S. He's allowed to do that. You know, they're much more lenient in the United States about grounding the football. In Canada, we're much more strict, and I think had this game been played in Calgary, the flag would have flown. We're in Portland, so you can get away with a few extra things down here.
Perhaps one of the American officials was on that side.
That's right. See, you got it.
2nd and 10, Stampeders at the 46. Calgary leading 14-0, 2:25 to play in the opening half. On target once more for Carl Bland. Inside the 40 to about the 37 and met by Jim Rockford. 15 yards.
Doug Flutie, for the most part in this first half, has had excellent protection from an offensive line that was quite suspect tonight, and they have done a good job. They have allowed him good sight lines downfield to pick out targets such as he did with Carl Bland right there.
More pressure on Flutie. He got it away for Sean Beals, number 88. Stampeders offensively have looked very sharp. Brian Smith, number 23, making the stop for the Argos. Let's see where they spot it.
And the Argonauts are really playing into the hands of Doug Flutie right here. Doug Flutie loves to work against his own defense. He is a very patient quarterback and will pick away at it, which he is doing in the first half with all these hook patterns he's hitting his inside receivers with. Alan Pitts has had a good half. Sean Beals has got a number of hook patterns, and Doug Flutie will take this all day if you allow him. Sure, he likes to throw the bomb and be flashy, but if you want him to, he will be patient and work underneath it, and he's having a great first half.
Let's go, Doctor.
Let's go 149 search. 149 search.
What's your route?
Tell him to be away for half.
What route?
John Huffnagel saying a 149 search, and although I don't know the Calgary offense, I suspect that's a play action type. Search means the linemen are going to block out and search for any kind of blitz coming, but look for play action here.
It is a first down for the Stampeders at the Toronto 28. Once more, Flutie inside the 15 on target. Dave Bovell making the tackle on Alan Pitts. Flagged out.
Play action and rollout allows Alan Pitts a little extra time to take this pattern deeper. He turns Jim Rockford completely around and works back to the football. A perfect catch. Unfortunately, this one I think is going to be called back.
Penalty is in fact against the Calgary Stampeders. Holding. Interesting numbers for Flutie. 15 first downs compared to 4 for Foggy. This will be 1st and 20. Stampeders now back at the 38. Wayne Ford, number 31, met by Eric Lindstrom, number 74 for the Argos. Ford listed as the backup to starter Andy McVeigh. Gain is 2, 2nd and 18. Alan Pitts, another reception. And he's inside the 30, but he'll be well short of the first down. Keith Costello, 37 for the Argos on Pitts this time.
Shows you what tremendous athletic ability Alan Pitts has. Watch how he catches it and moves at the same time. He sees the hit coming from Eric Ringon, but he is able to catch it and change his direction all in one motion. He doesn't pick up the first down, but what a tremendous reception by Alan Pitts. You talk about basketball players having great body control. We're going to see some good ones next Monday night with the Tournament of the Americas, Canada versus the U.S., but Alan Pitts has that same kind of body control in the air.
Mark McLaughlin is good for the second time. So it has been McLaughlin leading the Calgary Stampeders. The total is now 17-0. McLaughlin with a couple of Calgary field goals. Now, what do you think? What about the CFL expanding to the United States? Our phone poll. I'd like to hear from you. 1-900-273-0040 if you think yes, and 273-0041 if you think it should remain in Canada.
Well, it's interesting in talking to the Portland people who were involved in bringing a franchise here. What they wanted to see from the people tonight was really not the size of the crowd, but how well the crowd reacted to the game that they were watching. How interested were they really in this brand of football?
Oh, Foggy aired that one out for the Rocket, who almost brought it home. And again, the coverage by Errol Tucker, who's been pretty sharp tonight.
Yeah, he has. It's a good first half, but I thought that interesting what the criteria that they wanted from this evening's game was to see the reaction of the people. That was much more important to them than the sheer numbers of people that would turn out to watch it. 50 DO. Look for David Williams on the out. That's one of the things they like to do. From 50, David Williams will push it down about 14 yards and work to the outside.
Foggy from the shotgun steps up, and it should have been caught by the Rockets.
Yeah, the 50 DO is outs to both wide receivers. Ricky Foggy looked to the Rocket. He was wide open. Unfortunately, as you can see, he was not able to hang on to the football, and the crowd in Portland was on him a little bit here. I think I heard a little boo.
Catchable football, no doubt.
He should have had that one. It's tough when your team's struggling, too. They've only had 4 first downs in the first half. You need to come up with some big plays to try and get your team on track, and that certainly would have helped.
35 seconds now till halftime. Olisic, best kick of the night. Pee-wee Smith on the return. Smith has room down the right side. Lost the ball. And the Calgary Stampeders will retain possession. Jim Rockford leading the Argo tacklers. Rockford has been at the center of a lot of tackles tonight. Into the final 30 seconds, 22 to be exact. Almost picked off by Keith Costello, 37. Great night for Alan Pitts so far. 7 of 83 for a touchdown as well. And I guess he's winning the battle of the slot backs. Darrell K. Smith, 2 receptions, 33 yards.
Alan Pitts has been on the field a lot longer than Darrell Smith has tonight, that's for sure.
Black 80. Black 80.
2nd and 10. Flutie to the far side, and that was well over the head of the intended receiver, Carl Bland. Heading to halftime, 12 seconds to go. Stay with us. We'll have a sports update from our control center and check out the Portland situation. The possibility of the CFL looking seriously at Argonne. Plus, Leafs analysis. Join Gord Miller at the half.
It will be all Calgary, I think.
Maybe a little Alan Pitts.
I would think he might make the highlight package here at halftime.
Some pressure on Matic, but he got it away. I'm not so sure he figured he had. This is Mike Clemens for the Argos. Markers are down as Clemens finds a little room, but not enough. 43-yard kick by Brent Matic. Pretty good hit here by Andrew Murray. That's Greg Knox, Stampeder rookie.
Illegal block. Toronto number 5. Decline.
So that'll wrap up the opening half at the Civic Stadium in Portland. The Grey Cup rematch so far belongs to the Calgary Stampeders. In Winnipeg in November, it was the Argos. The Stampeders lead the way at halftime, 17-0. Stay with us for Gord Miller at the half.
Halftime in Portland, Oregon, where the Calgary Stampeders lead the Toronto Argonauts by a score of 17-0. Well, as you can hear, the fans here in Portland are loving what they're seeing, both on and off the field. It's the reaction of these people that is the key to Portland's expansion bid. Whenever CFL expansion is discussed, Portland, Oregon is one of the first areas mentioned for a lot of reasons. Population is one of them. More than 1.5 million people live here, and the area is growing daily. Portland also has a reputation for being a great sports town, and it's well-deserved. The Western Hockey League's Portland Winterhawks have soared here, thanks in large part to the rabid support of the local fans. The Portland Breakers of the now-defunct United States Football League were one of the few USFL teams to receive consistent and enthusiastic local fan support. And then, of course, there are the Portland Trailblazers of the NBA. Their loyal following is almost legendary. Since 1977, the Trailblazers have sold out every one of their home games, a streak of more than 600 consecutive home dates. It's things like that that make the Portland Trailblazers interested in another league. The Blazers are looking to head up Portland's CFL expansion bid.
The thing that may be most appealing about this whole situation is the game. Is the fact that it's a totally unique product. This is not the USFL or the World Football League. This is not an effort to copy the NFL. The CFL has a standalone product with a very unique set of rules that encourages a very unique style of play.
For years, the Blazers have marketed fast break basketball, which makes them think that there's a good chance they can also market the fast break CFL football.
People will buy excitement. In many ways, I think this product is one of the most exciting football products we've ever seen.
The idea of owning a CFL team was first brought to the Blazers' attention by Argo owner Bruce McNall at this exhibition NHL game played in Portland last September. The group became interested after meeting Larry Smith 3 months ago.
We thought he had the right vision, the right broad-based agenda, the right direction, and it sort of had that characteristic about him that seemed right.
The final decision to go ahead rests with Blazers billionaire owner Paul Allen. If he likes what he sees, look for the CFL to head south, and soon.
I'm personally optimistic and excited. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I think that Paul would be described as skeptically optimistic, as he should be. He should have a healthy skepticism, and he has to rely on me to some extent to make a proper recommendation. But I think in the end, and that's why he'll be sitting there tomorrow. And he has to be enthusiastic about it. He has to want it to be here. So his gut is going to have a lot to do with where we end up.
And Marshall Glickman of the Blazers joins us now. You've had one half of football to gauge the crowd reaction. What do you think so far?
Crowd reaction's tremendous. There's more defense in this league than I thought. So the crowd's been great, though.
What's the next step now?
Next step, one more half. We need Rocket to break one loose. That would help a lot. One more half.
Marshall, thanks very much. We're going to bring in Larry Smith, a man you've been talking with a great deal, the commissioner of the Canadian Football League. Larry, the first time that the CFL has held a preseason game outside Canada since 1958. What do you think?
Well, it's just been a great game so far, and I'll tell you what, Calgary's playing a hell of a game. I think Toronto sort of had a bit of a wake-up call during the first half, and the fan support here has just been outstanding, and we're really thrilled.
Okay, now what's the next step for the Canadian Football League in terms of Portland?
Well, I'll tell you, after this game, Marshall and I will have to sit down and evaluate the situation. We've had some very intense discussions as to date. We set up an action plan with some certain points that need to be addressed, and hopefully we'll come to some conclusion in the near term.
Larry Smith, thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
All right, expansion in Portland continues to be our focus, and we've got another half of football for the fans to see. We'll be back with more on the Game of the Week in just a moment.
I think it'd be a great move for the league to be in Portland. It would lend instant credibility to the team, to the league in the States, and also open up another market and possible TV contracts, cable contracts, all that type of stuff. I think it'd be great. I think the people of Portland really want football in this town, and we're the game.
And Doug Flutie had a great first half. His Calgary Stampeders lead the Argos by a score of 17-0 after 30 minutes of play. I have to confess, I wasn't sure how fans in Portland would react to the Canadian Football League, but so far they've liked it, and liked it a lot. For their impressions of what we've seen and heard here in Portland so far, here are John and Leaf.
Gordon, it really hasn't been a classic so far. The Toronto Argonauts could use a bit of a wake-up call and perhaps a big run by the Rocket and get everybody into this thing.
Yeah, I felt like the fans really haven't been able to get into this game as of yet. Calgary totally dominating the first half, but certainly if the Rocket were able to reel off a big one or Ricky Foggy throw a bomb, I think the crowd would be into this game in a hurry.
Doug Flutie and Alan Pitts. Looks like it could be a rather potent CFL combination.
Well, I think Doug Flutie has recognized very quickly that Alan Pitts will be his #1 target in 1992. Pitts, of course, enjoying an excellent first half, 7 catches, and Doug Flutie 16 completions already in one half of football. So the offseason hasn't slowed him down one bit.
All right, we'll look forward to the second half here in Portland. Gord?
All right, thanks very much, gentlemen. That is coming up in just a few moments as our coverage of the CFL preseason continues in a moment from Portland. We'll be right back.
Getting ready for the second half in this Grey Cup rematch between Toronto and Calgary. The Stampeders leading 17-0 at halftime. They dominated just about all the way through the opening half. 207 total yards. And only giving up 1 turnover compared to 2 for the Argos. The Stampeders with a decided edge in time of possession.
Half where he plays ball control with the passing game. 16 completions for Flutie, and I think head coach Wally Buono would be much more pleased with this effort. Last Sunday night they lost in Hamilton 20-17, but tonight in the first half it has been all Calgary Stampeders, and let's see if the Argonauts can get something rolling in the second half and make a game of this one.
The Argos won their initial preseason game 48-33 over the Eskimos last week. They're down by 17 at the half to the Calgary Stampeders.
In all fairness to Ricky Foggy, he's had a number of footballs dropped. Darryl Smith had a nice reception that he finally coughed up, and a fumble was recovered by Calgary. Rocket has dropped the ball tonight, so Ricky Foggy, you know, his numbers do not look good, but he really hasn't played that poorly.
The Grey Cup meeting, it was 17 degrees. That's -17 Celsius in Winnipeg when the Argos and the Stampeders last got together. It's 29 degrees Celsius here. A difference of 46 degrees. Second half underway. This is Darryl K. Smith on the return for the Argos. Out across the 25, not much yardage, as he was met by rookie Marvin Pope, number 91. John Kangemi is listed as the second-string quarterback, but Mike Kerrigan gets the second crack at it as far as the Argos are concerned here tonight. Foggy 6 of 16 for 49 yards. Doug Flutie rather impressive at 16 of 26 for 175 through the first half. Now it's Mike Kerrigan's turn for the Argos. Good running room for Albert Haynes, number 33. He was stopped by Greg Peterson. Haynes, a rookie out of South Carolina.
And that was the biggest problem the Argonauts had in the first half. Their first down production was horrible, and here they come out in the third quarter with a running play, new quarterback, new running back, and they get excellent production, a couple of inches away from a first down.
Kerrigan to the far side. Derek Hill stopped by Errol Tucker.
It's amazing to me how you run for 9.5 yards on first down. You got a half a yard to go and you throw for it. I don't know. Anyway, that was
it worked.
I know it worked. That was the choice that Mike Kerrigan made. He gets the first down. They continue this drive to start the second half.
Rookie Derek Hill, the receiver to the near side. J.P. Esquerdo in motion. Kerrigan handing off. Albert Haynes, second carry. He was met by Marvin Pope, number 91, and another rookie, number 47, Greg Patrick. Patrick getting a chance to make this football team with Dewan Brandon on the injury list. He was the starter at one of the Stampeder linebacker spots last year. Gain is 3, 2nd and 7. Mike Kerrigan and the Argos at the 40. Esquerdo makes the catch, and he's across the 50. Should be enough for the first down. Junior Thurman up to make the tackle for the Stampeders. J.P. Esquerdo. Is that how you say it?
Yes, Esquerdo.
Esquerdo,
and he makes a nice catch and actually fights off the tackle of Junior Thurman to pick up that first down. Back-to-back first downs for Mike Kerrigan. There's a good look at J.P. Esquerdo in his second year. University of Calgary product coming to Toronto.
Kerrigan first down, far side. Mazzotti makes the catch, number 88. Met almost immediately by Kenton Leonard. Leonard was the Stampeders Rookie of the Year last season.
Well, I remember a fabulous catch in the Grey Cup by Paul Mazzotti. It was a critical time in the game. He went high in the air and hauled in a long pass from Matt Dunnigan for the Toronto Argonauts. The Argonauts are blessed with a good core of Canadian talent at the receiver spots. They have Andrew Murray and Paul Mazzotti who kind of trade off, and then of course J.P. Esquerdo can come in and play slot back. He can play running back. They have Paul Nastasiuk, so they have a great deal of talent among those positions.
Kenton Leonard being attended to by Pat Clayton and the Stampeder training staff. No scoring so far in the second half. The Stampeders scored 17 points in the opening half, and that's the lead as it stands right now in Portland. Our CFL Game of the Week. Portland Civic Stadium all decked out for football. Some nice seats out on the far side there under the Brawleys.
I like that spot.
Our cameras will stay in Portland for the Tournament of the Americas, the Olympic team qualifying Canada versus the United States. That's coming your way Monday, June 29th, 11 p.m. Eastern time. Canada in a little tough in this one in basketball.
You know what, though, John, and we were talking about this on the way over. I mean, yeah, sure, Canada against the dream team from the U.S., sure, they're in tough, but boy, if I'm a guy playing for the Canadian Olympic basketball team, I say what a tremendous opportunity to play against probably the greatest team ever assembled in the world at one time, and it's a super opportunity for Canada. It should be a real fun game to watch Monday night right here on TSN.
Kerrigan at the controls of the Argos. This is 2nd and 3. Kerrigan looked for J.P. Esquerdo and was off the mark.
You like that name, don't you?
Yeah, you've been helping me with my Italian pronunciation. J.P. was telling us how to pronounce it. J.P. stands for Jean Paul. 3rd and 3, Toronto. Pee-wee Smith is deep. Hank Alisic's punt.
Calgary really watching for the fake here. 3rd and about 3.5, 4 yards at inside midfield.
Bouncing past Pee-wee Smith, and not much room in this end zone for Smith to do anything with the football, so he lets it roll for the first Argo point of the night. A 53-yard single, so the Argos are on the board.
It's unfortunate. That's not what Hank Alisic wanted at all. Punting from Calgary's 43-yard line. He would have dearly loved to have pinned them deep in their own territory. Single point at this stage, 17-1, really is insignificant. he would have liked to have pinned the Stampeders much deeper than where they will begin this drive at their own 30 now.
The field. See, because he don't want to throw to the wide out. He wants to throw inside, either to the slot or to the back. And the duck. Well, even Umbrellas puts in a better job.
New quarterback for the Stampeders is Bob Torrance. Handing off to Ike Lewis, rookie running back from Texas A&M. Bob Torrance from the University of Calgary dressed for 6 games for the Stampeders last year. Had some great years with the Dinosaurs. 23 touchdowns. That was in 1989 for the University of Calgary. Gain is 6, 2nd and 4. Torrance hangs on himself. He'll be about a yard short of the opening of the first down. Stopped by Mike Campbell. Number 99, that's Bruce McNall's other number 99.
That's right. And Mike has played well. Bob Torrance looked as though he was going to pick up that first down, but Campbell caught him from behind, and the Calgary Stampeders, with a 17-1 lead, will not gamble at this point. They've gambled on 3rd down twice in the first half, but this time Brett Matich will come in and try and put a good left-footed punt deep into Toronto territory.
Pinball Clemens standing on the spot for a while, now looking for room to the outside, and a lot of running for a gain of about 6 yards. Stopped by Kenton Leonard, a 31-yard punt that time by Matich.
The pinball uses a lot of energy when he plays. He did a lot of running right here, as you will see, for not a great deal of yardage, but is one of those types of players that always keeps the feet moving, hoping to get a block, a little seam here or there. That time he did not, but extra effort is his middle name.
From the 37, Mike Kerrigan and the Argos first down. Interesting formation with receivers to the far side of the field. Kerrigan hands off up the middle.
That is what they call the ninja offense, where they have the center and 2 tackles line up. They split out the guards. They're going to go into it again. And this puts a lot of pressure on the defense. They have not seen this kind of formation. There you see the top of your screen. The 2 guards are way out there. They run 3 plays. A pass to the Rocket, a QB run. Here comes the quick screen to the wide receiver Hill.
And Derek Hill gets to the 45, met by Will Johnson, 81. Johnson, All-Canadian in 1991, 40 sacks in 44 CFL games.
Last season. So the ninja offense does not fool the Calgary Stampeders enough to pick up a first down.
On 3rd and 2, Ilisic standing at his 30.
Watch the face!
Almost blocked by Will Johnson. On the return, Pee Wee Smith, well covered, stopped at the 15. A 45-yard kick by Ilisic. And Don Moen led the Argo tackler. We thank you for your response to our phone poll tonight. Do you think the CFL should expand to the United States? 2-1. 1,715 said yes, 810 said no.
Some of us are not surprised by that figure they came back in.
No, I wouldn't be terribly surprised.
Well, with the new ownership throughout the league, the Larry Rickmans, the Glebermans, the McNalls, and so forth, I think there is a bigger picture involved than there was a few years ago. They are looking to new revenues. This certainly might be a viable way to obtain those.
Well, they've had football in Portland before. The Breakers of the USFL the Storm and the Thunder of the World Football League. Both those leagues folded. First and 10, Stampeders at the 15. Torrance on target. Far side for James Pruitt. Torrance's first completion of the night. Rockford was covering on Pruitt. Spent 5 years with the Miami Dolphins and the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, James Pruitt was one of the big hopes of the Dolphins back in 1987 when he was drafted in the 3rd round. He was behind Mark Clayton and Mark Duper. He just never seemed to pan out, but now he's trying to catch on with the Stampeders.
First down for the Calgary Stampeders out at the 32. Ike Lewis, number 35, stopped by Don Moan. Lewis getting his chance, a rookie runner from Texas A&I.
I think it's really fun to see a Bob Torrance get a chance to play tonight as the 2nd-team quarterback. There's no question about his credentials. He had a super career at the University of Calgary. No question about the strength of his throwing arm, but the only question mark is how does he run an offense? How does he handle himself under pressure? So this is a tremendous opportunity for him tonight.
Torrance passing on 2nd and 4, has his man. And they rule it a catch. Wilson was covering.
Well, you talk about under pressure. Watch Rodney Harding, 77. He is right in the face of Torrance, but he stands tough in the pocket, delivers a strike to number 82, Will Moore. They rule it a catch, and that was a nice throw by Bob Torrance. Boy, he took a big hit from Cat Daddy, Rodney Harding.
So it is a first down Calgary, 1st and 10 at the 43. Stampeders leading 17-1. Ike Lewis, pretty good running ability for Lewis as he crosses the 50-yard line, stopped by Don Wilson.
Well, if there was one question mark as we talked about entering this game tonight, it was the offensive line of the Stampeders, but they have enjoyed a tremendous night. They've protected well for the quarterback, and here in the 3rd quarter, they're doing a nice job opening some holes for Ike Lewis and the other running backs. So a question mark definitely being answered here for Calgary.
Torrance keeps himself on 2nd and 1. And no flags apparent, so it'll be another Stampeder first down. Torrance has been rather impressive on this drive.
Often for a head coach, the most difficult thing to do is to decide when to let a veteran player go. They didn't invite Leo Blanchard back to training camp. They hope to fill his position with a younger player. They've done that with Lou Cafazzo. He has played well tonight, but for Wally Buono, that maybe is the most difficult part of being a coach. When do I tell a veteran he's no longer good for our system?
1st and 10 again, and Torrance has another completion inside the 35. James Pruitt makes his 2nd catch in front of Jim Rockford.
James Pruitt did a nice job to get into the opening and then work his way back to the quarterback, Bob Torrance, to keep any separation he had created between himself and the defensive back. Torrance throws the ball perfectly into the hole. Pruitt comes back to it, makes a nice catch, and this is an extremely impressive drive being put together by the young quarterback.
Stampeders now at the 33 of the Argos, 1st and 10. Torrance standing in. And another strike by Bob Torrance. Pee Wee Smith, number 86.
That's a great catch, and Pee Wee Smith, he's fighting for a job. You know, he was the big gun last year, made that great catch in the Western Final to get the Calgary Stampeders into the Grey Cup, but now he's seen Derek Crawford come back into the lineup, and he's in a battle, and boy, he shows his mettle there as he goes high in the air, draws that one in, 18-yard pickup, and the Calgary Stampeders continue to make big plays to keep their drives going.
18 yards for Pee Wee Smith, 1st and 10 for the Stampeders, looking to the end zone, and no one was there. The end zone a little shallower than it is back home. Only 10 yards deep in this stadium.
You can no longer throw the bomb from the 20-yard line here in Portland.
I think there is some room if they ever came to a decision to move the Canadian League down here to make the end zones a little deeper here within the confines of this ballpark.
That will not be the stumbling block, I guarantee you.
No, I don't think it will be. The width of the field is CFL regulation at 65 yards. The Argo 14, Torrance in trouble on second down as Harold Hallman broke through. Second time for Hallman. Second time we've seen the little dance.
And the fans like that. They've had a lot to cheer about from the Toronto Argonauts tonight, but Harold Hallman's 2 sacks have been greeted with some form of applause. Well, that was a great drive for Bob Torrance. His play selection was good. His delivery was good. That was not his fault. He got sacked right there, but he took his team all the way downfield and put them in a position to get a field goal. That was pretty impressive.
3:42 to go in the third quarter with the Calgary Stampeders leading 17-1. We'll pause in Portland. A reminder to Calgary fans, the Stampeders' home debut is against the Argos. Celebrate Canada's birthday. There's post-game fireworks there on Tuesday, June 30th. Tickets are available, of course, and the new mascot will be unveiled for the Calgary Stampeders.
New cheerleaders, I've been told.
I understand that too. Gord, that'll make your life very happy.
Yeah, it will, and lots of people to talk to down here on the sidelines. Terry Porter of the Portland Trailblazers is here. As a fan, what do you think of the CFL games?
I really like it. It's very up-tempo, kind of like what the Trailblazers do. We try to just get it out and just get up and down, and I think it's a very exciting style of football.
You got a great ovation when you came in here. Tell me about the sports fans of Portland. They seem very hungry for more pro sports in this town.
They really are. You know, Portland fans are very, I guess, very sports-oriented, and they're very loyal to their teams. And you know, we've been very blessed with the type of fans we've had since I've been here, and that's been 7 years. And they've followed us through the thick and thin of the troubles that we've had, and just been a tremendous support for our team. And it's kind of the sixth man, I guess, as you can say, because they give us so much emotional lift.
If there was an election for mayor, hands down, you'd win. Thanks for talking to us.
Be close. I don't know.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you.
Mark McLaughlin added his 4th field goal of the night from 27 yards away to pad the Stampeders' lead. Now 20-1.
Happy to have the general manager of the Toronto Argonauts, Mike McCarthy, join us up in the broadcast booth. Mike, your reaction after 2.5 quarters of football. I know you're not happy with your team's performance. What do you think about the show in Portland here?
Well, it's a hell of a show. You know, the people are really giving a lot of effort out here on the field and in the stands, and the promotions of Peter Jacobson Group and Paul Allen, the Trailblazers. It's been quite an exciting night for the city of Portland.
Let's talk more specifically about your club, Ricky Foggy. Some question marks maybe as you enter the season with your quarterbacking. Your assessment of his play in training camp and now in a couple of exhibitions.
Ricky's had a good camp, Leaf. It's, right now we're missing a couple of our key offensive linemen. Ian Beckstead's out, and Calvin Brewster injured himself in the weight room the other day. And it's hurting us a little bit up front, but we have to play young people, and that's what we're doing right now. We're having trouble picking up some of the stunts, and you know, you got to be able to block them to be able to have success moving the ball either in the air or on the field. And we're coming along. We're playing a lot of young guys again tonight. If you see, you know, we had our second unit defense out there most of the whole first half, and we're working on things. We're working on it.
You see what happened to Princeton? That's why I never went near the weight room.
I can tell.
You signed Mike Kerrigan. Does he fit into your plans this year?
Mike has had it took a while the first couple days to pick up the camp, our passing game and how we do things, but Mike's very excited. Adam's very pleased with him, especially with his performance last week in the Edmonton game. And give him a little more time out here. He'll get the ball in the end zone for us tonight.
Well, there's no one that knows him better than you. You brought him to the CFL originally with the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Kerrigan trying for Mazzotti there.
All right, the $60,000 question. How about Mark Rippon? Are you close to making a deal with him?
Bruce and I met with Mark and his representative, Ken Staninger, for about 40 minutes before the football game, a closed-door session. And we had a good talk. We got to know each other and figuring out what Mark wants to do, what he wants to do for his future, and if that future includes the Argonauts and the city of Toronto. Great goal.
Almost a great catch. Kerrigan looking for Derek Hill.
Give me a percentage on your ability to sign a Mark Rypien? Is it a good 50-50 bet, do you think?
I would say, Leaf, you know, you're right. It's 50-50 right now. It comes down to what the Redskins can do. It comes down to what the antitrust case going on with the free agency in Minneapolis right now. What's in the future for Mark Rypien? So we have a possibility. It's just not all dollars from us. It's marketing and promotion also.
50-50 is not bad.
50-50 is not bad. I mean, it's not leaning either way. We're right in the middle. So it was a very good meeting.
You know what, Mike? I've always respected your ability to assess talent. Is he the kind of quarterback that can flourish in the Canadian Football League?
I think he can fit right into what we do throwing the ball. You know, they run an offense in Washington. It's very similar to the way we move our ball around too. And you know, ace backfield and the extra receiver with the you know, the flex of tight end, and they go to 2 receivers and they'll put the extra guy on one side and go trips to another side. So they move the ball around, and like Mark said, it's looking to know where that 12th man is, and the defender and also the receiver.
Vince Ferragamo could never find the 12th man when he came up here.
I think that Vince was in the league at the wrong time, and it depends on the philosophy and defense you run, offense you run, and the league has changed, I think, somewhat, and we're more open in our passing game, and the running game has kind of been out of the picture the last few years in the CFL.
Well, Mike, it's tough to repeat. We wish you all the best this year as defending Grey Cup champions, and thanks for coming up and visiting with us for a few minutes.
Thanks for having me, Leaf and Jack.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Flags down as the Stampeders begin from the 10-yard line. Harold Hallman making the stop on Ike Lewis. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 10. Stampeders in front, 20-1 on the Toronto Argonauts. John Hufnagel, Wally Buono looking on. We'll likely see a little of Steve Taylor, who's standing to their right.
Goal line, right? So it's only going to be a 5-yard penalty, 2-yard penalty. Okay, so it's 2nd down. 2nd and 7. 39 EX. You haven't stopped it yet. What you got? Hey, George.
Okay, we got 2, yeah.
Second down, Stampeders. It is Bob Torrance at the controls. Doug Flutie worked the entire first half for Calgary. Torrance has the pass batted down. Len Johnson, number 90, got a big mid up. He's from Georgia Military, played 8 games in 1991.
Thank you. This is a good reason we had a 6th, we took Calgary off.
Well, one of the reasons why he is able to get so high in the air is Leonard Johnson is 6'6", and of course, you know, that's all you can ask from your defensive lineman. If you can't get in, get the sack, get the pressure, do the next best thing. Put your hand up, and good things may happen, as they did.
Big charge. Matic barely got it away. He's down, no flag. And the Argos will come up with good field position on the return here by Barry. He draws some flags. .22-yard punt by Matic. Pressure from Pleasant. Left side. No call was a good call, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty good acting. I don't think anybody actually touched him, so couldn't fool these officials tonight. Brent, save that for
Calgary
the regular
number 9,
season.
bounce back rule, 5-yard penalty. That's declined. First down.
Argos have 1 point on the night. This is their best position, I believe, from the 30. 1st and 10. Here's Kerrigan. Coming out of the backfield, Albert Haynes, and that'll be an Argo first down. Stopped by rookie linebacker Greg Patrick from Brown University.
And that is the matchup that every offense likes to create. A quick running back against a linebacker, and that time Albert Haynes quickly into the flat. Mike Kerrigan recognizes the coverage that Greg Patrick cannot run with Albert Haynes. He hits him quickly, and they take advantage of that short punt, no yards, and now with a first down call and reception, the Argos are knocking at the door.
1st and 10. Argos at the Stampeders 16. Kerrigan near side. Off target for Andrew Murray, number 86. be the end of the third quarter. Argos with only 1 point so far, trailing the Calgary Stampeders 20-1. We'll head to the fourth quarter in Portland in a moment. Back at Portland Civic Stadium. Seating capacity 27,000 as it sits right now. Not quite full tonight, but a pretty good crowd. Some enthusiasm for first CFL game played in the United States since 1958. Mike Kerrigan at the controls of the Argos. It is 2nd and 10 from the 16. Darrell K. Smith stopped by Kenton Leonard. After 3 quarters, the numbers look like this. Stampeders leading in virtually every category. Net yards 267. Time of possession rather significant too. And on the scoreboard, it's 20-1 Calgary. Injured player is Darrell K. Smith.
They got to return the ball out of the end zone too.
Oh, here's another one too.
Yeah. Unless any kick, unless it goes out of bounds, they got to run it back. 19 yards deep in the end zone, they got to get 19.
Hard to make out the number. Jim Kardash, I do believe.
Isn't that great? Or they don't have to run it. They give up a point. Right. Yeah. They want to give up a point. Yeah. Point if they don't get it. Right. Every kick.
Well, Darrell K. Smith caught that ball, and he comes up about a yard short. So the Argonauts, I'm sure, at this point, trailing 20-1, will gamble here in the fourth quarter and try and get the touchdown.
A reminder of a TSN special coming up shortly. Canada 125. The Spirit of Champions. A look at Canada's sports history. Wednesday, Canada Day, July 1st, 10 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I think you'll enjoy it. Still working on Jim Kardash. Argos as close as they have been all night. Will take a timeout in Portland and continue after this. Welcome back to Portland, the Civic Stadium, for the rematch of the Grey Cup. Calgary leading Toronto 20-1. Fourth quarter. Let's join Gord Miller.
Thanks very much, John. I'm with Larry Rickman, the owner of the Calgary Stampeders and the chairman of the CFL's expansion committee. First of all, the question we've been asking everyone here tonight: what do you think of the response from the Portland crowd?
Outstanding to get this many people out to watch two teams that really don't mean much to the city. Is just it's overwhelming. I mean, we must have 20,000 people here.
What's the priority for expansion? How quickly would you like to see it happen?
For the 1993 season, we think it's very likely that we'll have one or two U.S. cities in there.
Well, your team's played great here today. Things look good in 1992. How are things going in Calgary?
They're going very well. This is very, very important to the Calgary fans. Both teams here are playing to win. And you know, again, we meet them again on June 30th, and you know, we're going to do the very same thing.
And Doug Flutie's played a big part in your preseason publicity. How's he working out?
Doug's working out very well. You can see what he's doing here with the team as well. He just fits in beautifully, and you know, I think the whole power shifting now from the east to the west, and I think it's going to be a good year.
Thanks, Larry.
You got it.
3rd and 2. The Argos go gambling here from the Stampeder 8-yard line. Kerrigan, good fake. Kerrigan looks to the end zone, and he's off target for Darrell K. Smith.
Good job, baby. Good job. Good job.
Albert Haynes took the fake, and I don't know about the call, Leaf.
Well, it was a good call. I think they were definitely going to throw the football. They live and die with the throw. But Tim Caulfield, the defensive end for the Calgary Stampeders, read it quickly. He came in, got the pressure, and Darrell Smith never really was able to come open. Kenton Leonard, number 30, with excellent coverage on him, and maybe a suspect call, but the Argonauts always choose to throw the ball in critical situations, so that's what they live and die with. That time, Mike Kerrigan not able to complete and keep that drive going.
So the Argos' lone point remains a 53-yard single by Hank Olisic in the first half.
I'm sure there's a lot of people here tonight going, hey, what are they leaving the field for? That was only 3rd down. You know?
Have to count a little differently.
Sure.
Here's Steve Taylor at quarterback for the Stampeders, unloading for Derek Crawford. Ed Barry got his hand on it just in the nick of time.
Well, Ed Berry's one of those types of corners that will sometimes give you the illusion that the receiver is open, and then he knows so well his own abilities to close on the football, and just at the last second he's able to get in front of Derek Crawford and tip that ball away. He has an interception tonight, and they're a tremendous play on a very speedy, dangerous receiver. Ed Berry, 4 years with the Argonauts, 4 touchdowns, 3 with interception returns, 1 with a fumble recovery, so he is a ball hawk, and more often than not able to convert them into scores.
2nd and 10, Steve Taylor at quarterback for the Stampeders now to his right, and on target, should be close to a first down as Taylor hit Dave Sapunjas, number 25. He had a great Grey Cup game, didn't he?
MVP, Canadian. Well, you don't like to see that as a receiver coach, though. You know, he had 2nd and 10, and Sapunjas is a veteran receiver and really should not make that mistake. He comes up a half-yard short. If you're going to err on the long side, not the short side. So his team will have to gamble from deep in their own territory.
3rd down and 1, Stampeders at the 17. And that'll be a first down, Calgary. Stampeders have been very efficient as a football team tonight. They've got the job done with all 3 quarterbacks. Doug Flutie on the sidelines now, but he put the numbers on the board. Bob Torrance came in, moved the football club. But the scoring really goes to Doug Flutie.
Apprehensive before the game tonight, just to how well he would perform. He was nervous about the situation, but I think when all is said and done from this evening's performance, he should be extremely pleased.
Well, maybe not quite the first down. They'll measure to be sure.
Woo!
Close, but it is enough for the Calgary Stampeders. 12:38 to go, 4th quarter. And it has been all Calgary here in Portland tonight. Steve Taylor left all alone, and he was caught from behind by Hallman, number 70, with help from Eric Lidstrom, number 74. Hallman has been effective 3 times. He's been at the quarterback tonight.
Well, the way this game is going for the Toronto Argonauts, it looks as though the defense might have to create some points. The offense has really sputtered for the most part this evening after a little better than 3 quarters of play.
Bob McDonald, in his 2nd season, played 2 games last year. Adam McMaster, he's the most recent player injured.
See the ball in stroke? I don't know what you're fighting for. They're rushing you hard, but they're not coming close.
Yeah, this is kind of tough when this is the most exciting thing your team has done all night. This dance here.
Not dainty.
Well, I like it.
Yeah, I just said not. It's not a dainty maneuver.
He's been working on that, perfecting it. He started it last year, and now he's had all offseason to perfect it, and he's been able to do it 3 times tonight. Really nail it down.
Okay.
2nd and 15. Taylor unloads for Alan Pitts, and he's wrestled down by Dave Van Bellingham, number 17 for the Argos. Penalty marker down.
Come on. You got to call it. No, I got it. It's a first down, and he threw the flag. He ran out of
Rockford on the safety blitz. That means Dave Van Bellum has to come all the way over and take Pitts. Let it run. That is good, solid defense. I mean, that's a lot to ask from your middle safety to come over and cover Alan Pitts. But as Rockford comes, he is picked up. But Steve Taylor hits Pitts, but who is right there? But Dave Van Bellum from the middle safety. He comes a long way and makes a tremendous defensive play. That's what you ask from your middle safety when you put him into a situation like that with the blitz, and the Argonauts did it perfectly.
Toronto Automatic first down, 10-yard net. First down.
Face masking call.
I guess Dave Van Bellum, he did everything right except he got called for the face mask, so that will give Calgary a first down, but certainly the execution on defense was good. Yeah, there it is right there.
Yep.
Good call.
First and 10 Stampeders. Steve Taylor is the quarterback at this moment. Stampeders have not run a great deal so far tonight. Ike Lewis carrying that time for Steve Taylor.
Oh, you know what?
Former Edmonton Eskimo who joined the Calgary Stampeders last season out of Nebraska. 5-yard gain. 2nd and 5. Looked to be tipped. James Pruitt couldn't hang on. Number 89. Carl Braisley covering. Thought he might have been able to come up with a football.
Hey, let's not settle for them 20 points. Let's go, baby. Come on, let's get this thing going again. Back better.
Just tipped. Braisley over top. It'll be 3rd down. Here's Matic. Matic back at his own 15. Stampeders in the lead, 20-1. More pressure on Matic. He got it away. Pinball Clemens. And he's caught. Wrestled down by Sean Beals, number 88. 46-yard punt that time. Stampeders special teams have looked sharp tonight as well. Calgary in front by 19. We're in the 4th quarter in Portland. Now it's John Congemi's turn to see if he can get the Argos into the end zone for the first time tonight. Argos 1st and 10, beginning at the 18. Good fake. Congemi smothered and fired the pass behind his intended receiver, Kevin Smelly. Some pressure from Tim Caulfield. Congemi spent last season in Ottawa, but he's back and happy to be an Argo this year. 6 years in the CFL from the University of Pittsburgh.
Have some experience behind a Ricky Foggy in case he was not able to function, so they've been able to do that by signing Jimmy and of course Mike Kerrigan.
2nd and 10 now for Congemi and the Argos. More pressure. Congemi can't get it away, but now finds some room far side. Congemi gets the first down all by himself. Marvin Pope, number 91, finally caught John Congemi. 12 yards for the first down.
But it looked like John Congemi had no hope of getting away from this pass rush that the Calgary Stampeders put on. Tim Caulfield had a good shot. So did number 81, Will Johnson. But somehow John Congemi was able to free himself from the rush and actually pick up a first down out of that whole mess.
Argos 1st and 10, Toronto 30. Albert Haynes, number 33. He's a rookie runner from Southern Carolina, met by Ron Francis. Francis in his first year with the Stampeders, former Dallas Cowboy. Haynes, 4 carries, 36 yards on the night.
And you can never be deep enough at running back. They're having a good opportunity to look at Albert Haynes tonight. And Mike Pinball Clemens had so many injuries last year that Haynes will get a good look. And certainly if he is not in the starting lineup, they'll know what he can do.
4 yards for Haynes on 2nd and 6. He makes the catch. And that'll be another Argo first down. Stopped by Greg Patrick, number 47. Rookie linebacker out of Brown University.
And Albert Haynes has made a few good catches tonight. That time gets out in the flat quickly, and his second reception picks up another first down for the Argonauts. And John Kangemi, since he has come into the ball game, has looked pretty comfortable. He looked comfortable getting away from the pass rush on his one run, and now a nice completion to Albert Haynes.
Round 95. Round 95.
Finley pursuing Kangemi. And he escapes once more. Across the 50 into the 49. Shreko Zizakovic made the tackle.
John Kangemi is also wearing a microphone tonight, and as he takes off around Matt Finley, you can hear him huffing and puffing. I'm not sure if that's out of fear or just wind in this hot night, but he picks up about 7 yards. And the big problem Argonauts have had tonight has been first down production with John Kangemi, and they've been doing better.
Round 90. Round 90. Sit. Hot.
2nd and 3. Albert Haynes met by Matt Finley, number 37. Loss of 1. It'll be 3rd and 4. So Kangemi had him going for a moment.
I don't think Adam Rita is going to be too pleased with the offensive performance tonight. You heard Mike McCarthy say they are missing a few offensive linemen. That is true, but so are the Calgary Stampeders, and they've been able to function. But tonight, the Toronto Argonauts, from the opening kickoff, just have not been able to get on track, and I think that would be disappointing. They wanted to come out here and put on a great offensive display, and it just has not materialized tonight.
Punt by Lance Chomik. Rolling out near the 25. A 25-yard punt for Chomik, his first of the night. 6:27 to go, 4th quarter, with Calgary in the lead, 20-1.
I know. Yeah. I was coming to you. Well, I had to move up in the pocket. And last second, couldn't get it to you, so I tried to dump it to the back.
There's always a reason why, isn't there? What if? Yeah, but.
But, almost. Turn the other way. Steve Taylor now for the Stampeders on first down. Handing off to Ike Lewis. He's tripped up by Carl Brazeley.
Come on, Owen, let's go. Let's go, baby, come on.
Other famous teams from Portland. How about the Buckaroos? You remember the Buckaroos? I don't really either.
No, I don't.
That was the old Western Hockey League team out here. Minor league professional team. The Timbers of the North American Soccer League also made Portland their home for a while. Penalty markers down. No completion. Therefore, no fumble.
Big hit by number 17, Dave Van Bellem. He timed it perfectly, and it was right there as Will Moore caught the football, unloaded on him. You're going to see it. Top of your screen. Here comes Dave Van Bellem into the middle. Pop.
Procedure. Calgary number 58. Penalties declined. 3rd down.
Luca Fazzo, the right guard. Enter Brent Manage once more on 3rd and 8. Argos could use a big return right here, trailing 20-1. 5:22 to go, 4th quarter. They got through to Manage that time and got a piece of the ball. But he still got it away. It's out near the 50 where Clemens picks it up. Draws a flag. Clemens looking for a little seam, and he's finally surrounded. So the Argos will have good field position, but they're down by a bunch in the 4th quarter in Portland.
And part of this big crowd here, a couple of buddies of mine, Scott and Josh from Portland, who have come down to see the game. What do you think of the Canadian Football League game?
Well, I like it a lot. It's pretty neat. It's a lot faster pace than the NFL. But they don't have enough downs to do anything with. They got to keep punting the ball if they don't move it down the field. And I think they don't run it enough. They need to run the ball more. I like running it.
Josh, do you understand all the rules?
Yeah, basically, I think I pretty much figured it out.
How do you compare it to the NFL game?
Well, like he said, I think they should add one more down, get rid of all the punting. They need to go for it a little bit more.
Do you like the wide field, the bigger dimensions?
Yeah, that's a lot better. The wider field, it gives the quicker guys a lot better chance too. Like, that's why Rockets probably would be good here, because the field is so much wider. He's got more room to use his speed in.
All right, do you think the CFL would fly in Portland?
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. I'd go to all the games.
Yeah?
Every single one, every one. Season tickets.
There you go, fellas. That's the report from here in the stands. Now we're going to hit the concession stand.
Wow, way to go. He sold 2 season tickets right there.
Good stuff.
All he needs is a team here.
Yeah, I think that was really good. And I thought the interpretations of those fans were dead on. They like the style of it. And that's what I hear a lot, too. People don't want to see all the punting. And maybe sometime they're going to have to sit back and say, do we keep the same field, the same dimensions, but add an extra down? Who knows? Anyway,
well, they've been waiting to see the Rocket here tonight, and he hasn't really been able to put on a show. I saw him on the sidelines there a second ago. I don't know if he's slightly shaken up. Here's Congemi for the Argos, looking to the end zone. Not quite. Penalty marker is down, and it's picked off by Ron Francis. But I think there might be an interference call. The intended receiver was David Williams.
Yeah, I think he gets the interception and the interference call all wrapped up into one.
I know.
Forward pass interference. Calgary number 14. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Where's the ball? Where's the ball?
Another look.
John Congemi recognized immediately that David Williams had been able to get in behind Ron Francis, but the ball hung up just enough, and the collision is created and initiated by Francis. He makes the interception, but as you can plainly see here, he creates the contact and is called for interference. He doesn't agree with it, but I think it was right there in front of everybody to see.
So here's where the Argos are at the 18-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders. 1st and 10. Toronto trailing 20-1. Congemi, time to throw. And over the head of the intended receiver, that time Derek Hill, number 89. 2 receivers in the area. Hill was the closest to the football.
Well, that's what the Argonauts like to call their flame route, and they really had Derek Hill isolated nicely on the linebacker. It's a matchup that they would dearly love to have again. John Congemi just could not connect with him.
Go! Round 98! Round 98!
2nd and 10 Argos. Congemi. Big pressure, got it away. Loose ball and picked off by the Stampeders. Another interception, this one for Greg Knox, number 8. Knox from Laurier in his rookie season.
Let's get some first downs, man. Let's go.
That's what pressure can do for a defense. The pressure came on Congemi. He had to let the ball go before he was ready. Marvin Pope was right in his face. Nastasiuk will end up tipping the ball, and Greg Knox is the recipient of that tip. Here comes Marvin Pope on the blitz right up the middle. Watch the tip. Nastasiuk just cannot handle it. Kenton Leonard, he gets a hand on it, and Greg Knox with his first interception as a Calgary Stampeder.
Yeah, a couple of rookies combining on that. Marvin Pope with the pressure, Greg Knox with the interception. Stampeders get the ball back. Steve Taylor remains the quarterback. Far side of the field, Taylor has his strike. Derek Crawford. In fairness to these two teams, I mean, we are not in mid-season form. This is preseason game number 2. And although the Stampeders have moved the ball fairly well, the Argos have been a little off the mark most of the night tonight offensively.
And in Argonauts' fairness, too, I mean, they left Guelph, Ontario, wake-up call at 4 a.m. yesterday, traveled all day, had a practice when they got here. They're on a 3-hour different time change.
I don't feel sorry for them a bit.
No,
we're on a 3-hour time change.
Yes, we are, but that takes its toll on the players, and certainly they're not as sharp as they will be when the regular season arrives.
1st and 10. Eric Mitchell Forced out, far side. Heading to the 3-minute warning.
Hey, tell him X.
Timeout in Portland. And it has been Wally Buono's night. Calgary Stampeders lead the Argonauts 20-1, heading to the final 3 minutes. Welcome back to the Portland Civic Stadium, home of the Portland Beavers of the Pacific Coast League. And if you look to the end zone to our right, see that Pepsi sign down there, Leaf?
I got it.
It is.
There it is.
A little bit famous. Rodney McRae, Vancouver Canadians, made the blooper videos by running right through the fence down about there. He ran right through the fence in a Pacific Coast League game and made every late night newscast in the country.
And he caught the ball too, didn't he?
Caught the ball and came out through the fence.
Right through the fence.
In the majors, speaking of baseball, Toronto at Cleveland coming your way Saturday, June 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Jays and the Indians on TSN. Stampeders opened an early lead and they haven't looked back. The Argos have managed only 1 point all night long. 2nd and 6, Stampeders at the 25. Steve Taylor, the quarterback, is down. Quarterback Taylor hit by linebacker Elliott, number 35, Bruce Elliott.
Hey, work the clock. Take 20 seconds off the clock.
It was there. It was there.
You can hear Wally Buono saying it was there. They had a stop and go designed to James Pruitt. He was wide open, but sometimes the pressure can save your bacon, as it did in that case. Steve Taylor was sacked. He was not able to find James Pruitt, so it doesn't matter how open he is.
We gotta get a chance to throw. Come on, Sean, get a piece of this guy. Come on, Sean, get a piece of him.
Voice of Wally Buono in the background. More pressure on Manich. Another short kick. Taken by Van Bellingham. Ron Francis made the tackle. Barry got it.
Touchdown.
That's not.
Ricky. Here we are, goes 1st and 10 at the 44. John Congemi, 3rd Argo quarterback of the night. On target this time for Derek Hill. And Hill gets inside the 20 to about the 17. Met by Ron Francis.
And John Congemi did an excellent job at looking off the middle safety, Greg Knox. Watch Congemi here. He's going to look to his left all the way now. Turns back, and there he finds Derek Hill down the seam. Mark Singer can't get a hand on it. And that is a nice throw, and only a veteran quarterback has the confidence to do that, to wait till the very last second.
Jenny standing in, looking to the corner. Masadi, the intended receiver that time. Those end zones a little shallow for players used to being in the Canadian Football League. And Jemmy in his second time around with the Argos was in Ottawa last year.
Hurry up, Stymie. Let's go. T left, blue stop, 4 wheel. On one. Ready? Paul.
Second and 10 Argos. Stampeders 17. A minute 56 to go. Darrell K. Smith, the intended receiver. Congemi was low. Had been tipped by Finley.
I think Matt Finley got back in a deep enough drop that he got a hand on that football too. Calgary defense, they have looked good tonight. They, of course, were in a Grey Cup a year ago, finished second, and then defeated Edmonton up at Commonwealth Stadium in the Western Final. But they are a strong football team, offensively, defensively, and special teams. No question about that.
And Jemmy, 3rd and 10. Harold Hasselbeck.
That is pretty much the way the night has gone for Adam Rita's Toronto Argonauts. That is classified as a turnover, the 5th turnover that the Toronto Argonauts have given up tonight. Only one for the Calgary Stampeders. So back to the drawing board, back to Guelph on the overnight flight tonight. They will practice tomorrow. And Saturday they have a practice in Oshawa for the people out there to have a look at
Good
their
job,
team.
man. That's way to come. Way to come. Way to come. Good job, Will.
And then another game against the Stampeders to wrap up the preseason in Calgary. Argos have turned it over a bunch of times. Steve Taylor, the Stampeder quarterback for the moment. James Pruitt was the intended receiver. 89 on the far side of the field. Into the final 2 minutes, 1:35 to go in Portland. And not quite as exciting a football game as one would have hoped. The Argos had a little problem offensively. Maybe a big problem offensively. 3 quarterbacks, and it's tough to find a star amongst them tonight. Conjemi has moved them a little bit, but not one has made it to the end zone. Steve Taylor is surrounded and brought down.
He's very well, just 275.
Newcomer linebacker Ken Benson. Played some with the Eagles from the University of Arkansas.
Okay, you got it
He's
again,
a CFL rookie this year. So Taylor heads to the sidelines, the 3rd Stampeder quarterback. It'll be 3rd and 13. They've had good pressure on Brent Maddich tonight, as you can see by his average. No problem getting it away this time. The Stampeders special teams, a great job. Kenton Leonard stopping Mike Pinball Clemens that time. Clemens hasn't had much punt return yardage tonight at all.
He's been trying hard. He just hasn't been able to uncork one.
Well, the Stampeders will be a little sharper the next time we see them against the Saskatchewan Roughriders as we kick off the regular season on TSN Wednesday, July 8th. Leif Pedersen goes home to Taylor Field in Regina. Well, the banners will be out.
Oh, sure.
Escuardo makes the catch in front of Matt Finley.
Right, 58H.
58H, what he's ideally looking for is a hooks to the inside receivers, both J.P. Escuardo and Derek Hill, number 89. They're the primary targets here.
Jemmy just missing.
58H, T right. 58H, T right.
Keith Kelly.
Same play again. The H in that series means hot. If there's a blitz, everybody is supposed to look quickly, but ideally they're going to the inside receivers.
Kelly makes the catch this time. He's to the 45 and just across. Stopped by your pal, Sreko Zizakovic.
Talked about Sreko too much tonight.
Yeah, he's running the arrow.
All right, ready.
Tight coverage as Conjemi looked for Paul Masani on 1st and 10. Well, I've enjoyed this little trip to Portland. Nice city.
Beautiful city. Everything could be worked out. I'm sure it'd be a wonderful addition to the league.
Nice hotel, the Red Lion, with 773 Irish setters on convention. Escuardo makes the catch and is inside the 30 near the 25, met by Matt Finley. I guess it's a big dog show, but we've had a lot of Irish setters in the lobby, have we not?
It always smelled a little like the Humane Society there when I walked in yesterday. Monday. You like Irish setters?
Yeah, well, they're a lot
right.
quieter than the barbershop quartet convention we ran into last year in Calgary.
I don't ever want to see those guys again.
Konjemi has it tipped away and then picked off. Marvin Pope tipped the ball, and Finley came up with the interception.
Finley's had a good game on defense for the Calgary Stampeders, as he seems to do week in and week out throughout the course of the season. Ball tipped. Marvin Pope back in coverage, number 91. He tips it right into the arms of number 37, Matt Finley. So the 6th turnover committed by the Toronto Argonauts tonight. And that really hasn't been the story of the game. Turnovers haven't really played a huge part in this. Calgary had a touchdown early off one interception by Errol Tucker, but other than that, the turnovers wasn't the story. Just really the inability of the Argonaut offense against this pretty tough Calgary defense tonight.
And the Stampeder defense pretty well intact from last year. Stu Laird is not in the lineup tonight, but he'll be back shortly after the regular season gets underway. And Greg Patrick at a linebacking spot for Dwan Brandon, a rookie looking for work, and we're not sure if Stampeders will make a change at that linebacker spot. Brandon is also injured, but realistically, the Stampeders look pretty solid as a defensive unit. Should be the final play of the ball game. And that ends the Grey Cup rematch. The Argos won the big one last November in Winnipeg, and a little solace for the Calgary Stampeders, winning here in Portland tonight. First meeting since then.
Time now for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you tonight by Sony. We take you to the first quarter. The Calgary Stampeders putting together the drive on 3rd down. Doug Flutie looks to the man who may very well be his new favorite target in this shortened end zone. It is Alan Pitts for the touchdown. The Stampeders never look back as they rolled on to the 20-1 victory, and that is the TSN Turning Point. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Sony Trinitron, perfecting the art of watching TV. We'll be back with more from Portland when we return in just a moment. The first edition of the CFL Report for 1992 comes your way from Regina July 8th at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, and that is followed by our CFL regular season kickoff. Doug Flutie and the Calgary Stampeders against Don Matthews and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Wednesday, July 8th is a 9:30 Eastern Time start here on TSN. Well, one thing we can deduce from this football game is that Doug Flutie and the Calgary Stampeders seem to be a perfect fit. Flutie looked great in his Calgary Stampeder debut, and we'll look forward to seeing him in Regina. The crowd, too, seemed to like the football game, although they wanted to see more of the Rocket and the Argos, who came out a little flat in this football game, scoring just 1 point. The final score, the Calgary Stampeders 20, the Toronto Argonauts 1. We'll be back with a wrap from Portland in just a moment.